What's going on, beautiful people of YouTube? It's Renebean, and just look at this. Oh my god. This was an excellent porch pickup. I paid $150 for this. It's always a good day when you're adding games to your collection and making money. But of course, you know the routine. I gotta wipe all this stuff down. Sit back and relax. Let's check this out. Alright guys, so before we get into it, of course I gotta drop the server link. If you are not a member of the official Discord already, I highly recommend joining up. It's a huge retro gaming community filled with a lot of people, very knowledgeable people. If you ever had any questions on buying or selling or just want to talk about retro games, that's the place to do it. Plus, it's a great place to show off the finds that you get because I love seeing them, and we have a channel dedicated to nothing but people's finds, and you would be surprised what people are still pulling out of the wild today. So I'll leave a link to it in the description as well as a pinned comment. I hope to see a lot of new members over there. So, to all the people who are new to the channel, the way these porch pickups have been working is due to the virus. I just simply haven't been hunting. Our yard sales are non-existent. Garage sales, flea markets, it's all done for. Nobody's having them. So, I gotta get, stuff somehow. I gotta get my gaming fixed, and I've been doing porch pickups. I've been posting Facebook ads in search of various yard sale groups, and people will message me, show me pictures of what they have, and we go from there. And that's where this glorious lot comes from. Like I said, I paid $150 for this. It was like $200. Is what he wanted. I told him I was like $150 all in. You'll see proof here at the end of the video. I'll show some screenshots of it. And that's what we settled on. This is a beautiful lot, especially for this time right now, because some of this stuff is selling, like, absurdly. Like, the prices that you're getting for certain things are ridiculous. I sold Super Mario 64 for $60. That's unheard of to me. And it's continuously going up. So anyways, we got some controllers in front of us. I'll just start with that. It'll all be random. This, I've never seen a Sega controller like this. With this bundle, we got a Sega Genesis and an N64, as well as a bunch of games. But this controller, I don't know. This is an odd one to me. It has no name brand on it. I wonder what release this was like. Like how long after the Sega did this thing come out? I may end up keeping it. I like keeping wonky controllers like this and trying them out. Obviously, it's a turbo style controller. At first I thought it was just a standard 6 style Sega controller with the little mode button up on the top, which I was hoping for because this thing's gonna sell for quite a bit. But it's this one, so I'll probably end up keeping that. Another Sega Genesis controller, but I will tell you, just a note to keep in back in mind. Look out for the, just the red buttons. These inlays right here will be red. They usually can fetch for a little bit more than a standard Genesis controller. As far as the N64 controllers goes, we do got a red here with a pretty loose stick right here. That's got to be like it's like a 5 out of 10. That thing's pretty rough. Unfortunate too, because people want the colors more than they do the gray. And the gray stick it's alright, it's not terrible. But I'll bundle the system with one of the controllers, sell the controller separately. I'll probably sell this one separately and bundle that one with it. Next up is a Model 2 Sega Genesis. You're definitely going to need a better cleaning than that. I had some people get upset in my last video, which is understandable. Everybody's got to write their own opinion. But I take these off with this red slipcover, and I sell them separately. It maximizes my profit on the Sega Genesis. You can't get much for these things to begin with, so any little bit helps. Hell, how many times you've been to a flea market yard sale, you found a Sega Genesis looking just like that, and you're thinking to yourself, man, I wish I had the dust cover and, that to go with it. Well, guess what? You're in luck. I got you. It's the same way with an N64 in the expansion pack. If it's got one, I'm going to take it out. I'm going to sell it separately, especially in this time when expansion packs are going for almost $60. I'd be an idiot to leave it in there knowing I can put just a standard jumper in there. As for the N64 console, like I said, I'm excited because I actually haven't opened this to see if there was an expansion. None of the games required an expansion pack, but that's not always a sign that it's that it's not going to have one here. Let's see. I hope it does. Come on now. Oh, you son of a man. Just a standard jumper, but that's alright. That means I got to use one of my aftermarkets, and this thing can just be how it is, assuming it works. But N64s are tanks. It's hard to find one that doesn't work. I will say it's pretty grimy and rough in there. I'll probably have to open it up and hose this thing out. Before we get into the actual games, this is the box it came with. I usually leave all the cords alone. I'll just let them sit for a few days. And we got a bag, which is pretty nice because it's filled with all the N64 manuals for all the games, which is pretty good. Alright guys, it's time for the games. I know that's what you want to see. I try to hurry get through it so you can see. None of these videos aren't the normal live hunting. Hopefully when this world opens back up, we're going to get back into it. First up, we'll start with the N64 stuff here, which I will say this, N64 games are selling. I mean, you can have something basic like this and it will sell, and you'd be very surprised at some of the prices some of these are going for. NFL Quarterback 2000. I actually thought I didn't have this one. Unfortunately, I do. Penny Racers. It is very hard for me to add any N64 games to my collection. I got maybe 30, 35 left to complete for the full set. And there's some pretty heavies. But there are a few commons in there that I need. Turok 2, Seeds of Evil. Great card right here. This is a nice one. Gex 3, Deep Cover Gecko. And this will remove very easily. What was it? Horner? That's an odd one. Mickey's Speedway USA, which is actually, it's not terrible. You know, racers on the N64, you know, kind of like Mario Kart, which is what this one is like. It's not bad at all. Micro Machines 64 Turbo, which is cool to see. You don't actually see this one too often when it comes to an N64 lot. F1 Pole Position 64. WWF Warzone. I will say this, if you're looking into selling some N64 stuff, look up your wrestling games. Like No Mercy's going for like 40, 50 bucks now. That's insane. It's such a common game. But WWF Warzone, Bass Hunter 64. I remember playing the hell out of this back in the day. It was fun. The graphics, you know, going from Super Nintendo fishing style games to something like this was a completely different game. NASCAR 2000, WCW Nitro, Beatles Adventure Racing, which I will have to say this is a very fun game. If you have not played this already, do it. I don't know what you're waiting for. It's not an expensive game to get a hold of. Well, hell, I say that now, but this game could have skyrocketed for all I haven't checked it. But this is definitely one you would want in your collection. If you're not going for a full collection, at least have that one in your arsenal there. And last but not least, Mario Kart, which is very nice. I could basically have that N64 bundled with just Mario Kart, and I would be in the profit selling this. So it's crazy what N64s are selling for right now. Absolutely nuts. Now to get into the Sega Genesis stuff, which I'm very happy about this because I'm adding a few of these things to my collection. First up here we got Sonic Spinball, X-Men, Mortal Kombat. Now this was an odd one. I couldn't see that well from the picture. And again, the one good thing about the Discord, still got some what is that from the wipes. But what's good about the Discord servers, I couldn't make this out from the picture. I posted it up in the In Search Of, and they were like, listen, that's what that is. Great help to everybody that answered that. Street Fighter 2 Special Championship Edition, complete in very nice shape. Primal Rage, which actually, I don't know if this one's yeah, it is complete. It's got the manual, which is nice. Cardboard boxes. Now, I'll tell you, you know, for those who aren't in the know, there could be some pretty drastic price differences between a game that is in a clamshell and one that's in a, you know, late release cardboard. So definitely you want to check it out. If you have, you know, Primal Rage in both the clam and the cardboard, there could be a price difference that you need to make sure you're checking before you go to list these things. Earthworm Jim, which I gotta say, it's such a classic game. I prefer the Super Nintendo version. This one's going to be sold. But man, such a... Ooh, I didn't see how bad that back of that box looked. Look at that thing. It's rough. But that's alright. There's going to be a buyer for it somewhere. But man, if you've never played Earthworm Jim, such classic, beautiful art style. It's a funny game. It's brutally hard. It can be very challenging. But you will not regret it. His voice, the voice lines that he says, just the little thing, ow, you know, just the way he makes these weird noises, and whips his head. It's phenomenal, man. I probably sound like an idiot. Ow, I can't even do it like he does, but that's all right. Bonkers, which I will be adding this to the collection. It was on Super Nintendo, but I don't know. I had something about this box. It looks awesome. I honestly, man, this is gonna sound weird. I don't even know if I played Bonkers on Super Nintendo. Because none of this looks familiar to me, so I'm going to have to play it. Definitely, I'll start with the Sega version, I suppose. There are differences between Sega games and, you know, Super Nintendo games. Aladdin's the perfect example. Aladdin, you can fight me all day on this, but it's so much better on the Sega Genesis. And there are differences amongst the games themselves. NFL Football 94 starring Joe Montana. God almighty, I remember when everybody wanted to be, you know, buddy with Joe Montana. He was the number one back in the day. Next up is Echo the Tides of Time, and I gotta say this, when it comes to any Echo game, especially the Sega CD, the soundtrack is always beautifully well done. The Sega CD soundtrack for Echo is unreal. It cannot be matched. Next up is the Addams Family, which is complete, and I will be adding it to my collection. Pretty happy about that one. It's just so, it's getting to the point with my collection where it's hard to, because I'm narrowing it down. I'm not just adding things that I don't want. I'm going to add things that, you know, I either have some nostalgic place to it, something I want to try, something that's good. I'm getting out of the point where, like, man, I don't have this Joe Montana game. I better, you know, slide that on the shelf, which is fine for anybody who wants to collect that way. I just don't have the room for it. And last but not least is the classic Jurassic Park right here, which is completely different from the Super Nintendo version. The Super Nintendo version of Jurassic Park, I don't know, kind of weird. This 2D side-scroller action right here. But that's it. God almighty, look at these games right here, guys. I paid $150 for all this with the N64 stuff. That's a phenomenal deal. I'm definitely going to make some money, and I'm always happy when I'm adding stuff to my collection. People ask me all the time, like, how are you doing this? It's very simple. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I post a Facebook ad. It's an in search of basic, generic, retro games picture, you know, basically something like this. And it just says, I buy old video games, and you post it in yard sale groups and Facebook groups, and people will reach out to you. Don't be scared to do it. Just don't post it in the actual Facebook marketplace. I don't think they allow in search of. But anyways, guys, that's all I got for this video. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I hope one day this world will fix itself and I can go back to the flea market and the yard sales. God, I miss those. I miss those types of videos. These types of videos are not the quality I like to give you. So to everybody out in this wonderful world, take care, stay safe, and enjoy the rest of your day.